What's going on, everybody? It's Akil Mitchell from Big Three and Team Power. You're watching the Chris Gunther Show.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Chris Gunther Show. Thank y'all so much for watching. Remember to like and share this video. I would greatly appreciate it. On today's show, if you know me, you know I love basketball. The Big Three basketball is going on at the moment, so I'm chopping it up with Akil Mitchell from Power. What's going on with you, bro?
What's going on, Chris? Appreciate you having me, man.
No problem, man. It's kind of cool to be able to do a quick, chop it up session because you guys are, right at the edge of a playoff push, man. So real
Yeah.
fast, how's the team doing?
We're doing pretty well, man. We dropped two pretty tough ones in the last couple of weeks, and I don't know if it's even public information at this point, but I won't be making the trip to Detroit, so we'll be a little undermanned. But I still think the guys will be able to pull it out.
With the playoffs right around the corner and you are a key piece to that team, how are you still able to even keep the team encouraged when you're not physically there?
Yeah, I mean, I've been talking to the guys all week. It's these are vets. They know how to play. They know how to play the game. They know what's necessary to win. I know Glenn is up for his game. Cat. These are guys who every year have been able to do this. They've fallen behind in the last couple of years and have figured out a way to make the playoffs, to make a deep run in the playoffs, and to win games. So it's not really a whole lot that needs to be said, but I feel like the spirits of the guys, TJ and Royce and everybody are pretty excited and pretty up for the game.
One of the things about the game of basketball is there really is no definitive favorite in the sense because you still got to go out there and actually play, and you
Yep.
have to make sure that you can have all the X's and O's, but at the end of the day, you just got to go out there and get it done. Do you feel that you guys have the pieces to still get the job done?
Oh yeah. Even with me out, I think we do. The triplets are a really good team. Joe and Jeremy Pargo are amazing players, amazing scorers. But I think the way that we defend, again, even without me on the court, gives us a chance. And all throughout my career, that's kind of been the way things have gone, right? Like I've never really been one that's had a whole lot of hype or praise behind my name, but I've always just been able to get it done because, like you said, you just execute. It's basketball at that point, and you can't overthink it too much. But I think Nancy has done a good job of putting us in a good position to execute. And like I said, these guys are vets and they know how to play, so we'll be ready.
What is it like playing in the Big Three?
I mean, it's different. It's very different. Like I spent my whole life playing 5-on-5. I've made a name off getting up and down and kind of being an athletic, versatile big. And Big Three is slowed way down. But it's fun. It's a lot of fun. There's so much more space. The angles are, a lot of a lot more of the Big Three is about angles and positioning, and then it comes down to just talent. The guys that can make shots, create plays, get to the free throw line. It's a lot of fun, man. I've enjoyed it, and I'm really hoping to be back.
Is it more competitive than people think?
Oh yeah, that last game, the game that we had in Charlotte, like Charlotte's obviously home for me, so it got competitive for me. But every game that we've played in, between you don't want to base competitiveness off talking trash, but you can tell guys are involved, and engaged when guys are talking trash. There's hard fouls. Guys are going at it, man. It's not a slouch league, and these guys were a lot of them have played in the NBA and have played in the NBA for a long time because of their competitiveness. So it doesn't matter what we're playing. To be honest, we could be playing cards. Like these guys are gonna go at it. We're gonna try to kill each other. You know what I mean?
There's levels to everything. And, I share this with a lot of guys who I'm friends with because they'll watch, guys on the Big Three or they'll see guys in the NBA or the G League and say, man, I think I could take them. And I have to remind them, guys, there's levels to this. Okay. There's a reason why they're
Yeah.
on national television and why we're playing in a rec ball somewhere.
Right.
There's a totally different, and the reason why, man, is because, you guys make it look so easy. Even the
Yeah.
role players, they make it look easy. But I tell guys all the time, you could take anybody from the Big Three, anybody from the G League, or anybody in the NBA right now, 12 men on the roster that don't get a lot of burn. Put them in
Yeah.
any gym in the world and they will go crazy. And they
Oh yeah.
won't even be really like trying their hardest. They just out there trying to break a sweat.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just getting up and down. There was I think it was recent. It was pretty recent. I don't know if she was Ethiopian or Somalian, but there was a girl running a race, like a pre-Olympic qualifying race. She finished like 10 seconds behind everybody else. Everybody's like, "What the hell is she doing like in this race?" And I kind of compare that to, I mean, no disrespect, but when you put regular people who don't train every day, who don't do this every day, who haven't been doing it for years, like a lot of these guys have, you got to remember, like I started playing competitive basketball when I was 12, 13 years old. I've been doing this every day since then. And I'm a role player on the big three. I play overseas, you know what I mean? But guys are still making hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars, to do this. There's a reason why. There's a reason why. You know what I mean? There's maybe 500 to 750 guys on Earth that can play at this level, and I don't think people respect that enough.
Not only that, but then it's a even smaller number of guys who can be on the level of a LeBron James, a Steph
Oh
Curry,
yeah,
a Kevin Durant, because most of the NBA is made up of role players. And people don't want
yeah,
to acknowledge that because you
yeah.
have guys who are just that good, like a Steph,
Right,
LeBron, Kevin. But the reality of it is, man, a lot of the guys in the NBA are role players.
right. And those role players were the best players in everything they've ever been in. I mean, Patrick Beverly averaged like 40 points a game in high school. You know what I mean? Like he's a defender. He's never going to average more than 10 points, 15 points a game in the NBA. But like these are the type of guys that you're going against, right? Like I've got all Americans. You know what I'm saying? Like these guys they're pros, man. They are the best at what they've been doing for a long time. And then when you get to that level and you run up against a Steph or a KD, like all right, Steph is maybe the best player, easily the best shooter of all time. Or like what I'm gonna outshoot him? No, I got to do my job. I have to do my role and then when we get in the pickup settings, I'll play a little bit more and you'll see like why I'm so talented. But at the end of the day, I have a job just like everybody else and I got to fill my role.
And on top of that, you have to make sure that you're staying on top of your game. What are some of the things that you still can't stay on top on, even though you can't be with the team right now?
Yeah, I mean, the only reason I'm not with the team is because I've signed a contract to go play in China for next season. So I'm headed.
Congratulations.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I'm headed to China in 2 weeks. So they paying me a lot of money. They told me to kind of shut it down and just protect myself. So there's been a lot of body work, just making sure that my body stays healthy, making sure that I'm in shape. I'm still in the gym twice a day. I'm in the gym at 6:30 in the morning. I'm in the gym again at 3 p.m. I'm doing hot yoga. I'm on the track. So like my days are full, man. I'm working. Like it's a full time job.
When did your love for the game start?
Oh, that's a good question, man. I've always loved the game. I've always loved the game. I used to be terrible though. I got cut in middle
Yeah.
school. Bro, I'm telling you, I was short. I was a little overweight, but as long as I can remember, even like seventh, eighth grade, I remember trying out, and I got cut both years. I got cut both years. Hit a growth spurt, and then even in ninth grade, I got cut. But I was, injured here and there, and then my sophomore year was really when it started to pick up for me. But I've always loved the game, and I've always loved being around it. My dad played, my uncles played, so I've always watched it and enjoyed it. But like the fire to really get good at it started from getting cut back when I was like 11, 12 years old.
One of the things that really irritates my soul now is we live in a generation where a lot of high school kids they can't handle the pressure and they feel like they have to go and transfer from one school to one school and all of this jumping around. I mean, if it works for you, great, but you're going to have to deal with adversity at some point. So with you being cut and with you allowing that to kind of fuel you to keep going, what was it even in those moments that made you decide to stick with it?
Yeah, man. I mean, that's a great question. Adversity now is not really like in the vocabulary of a lot of these kids, and with NIL deals and the transfer rules are so different. Um, it's different for a lot of the kids. They really feel like they don't need to be held accountable. And for me, it was either I quit and I never play basketball. I never seek that potential, or I give it everything I have. And I was never really one to run away from a situation. Like if you tell me I can't do something, I'm gonna do it. It doesn't matter what it is. You tell me I can't get to space, I'm gonna find my way to get to space. You know what I mean? So that's just like the type of personality I have. And so I've had a lot of adversity. I've had a lot of coaches tell me I wasn't good enough. I had a lot of people tell me they didn't think I was good enough to play at a high level. And every time they did that, it clicked something inside of me to say, fuck y'all, man. I'm gonna do what I'm gonna prove it to you. And I'm not sure a lot of kids these days have that.
What advice would you give to some of the younger players that are going to be watching this that they might be dealing with a bad coach or they might be dealing just with a bad system, but they still have the heart to play? What would you tell them?
Yeah. No, I saw Gilbert Arenas on a podcast not too long ago saying like he never argued with a coach. Coach is always right. If the coach thought he wasn't good enough, then all right, I'm not gonna argue with you. You can sit me on the bench, but in my mind, like I know I'm good enough, and if you don't think I'm good enough, then I'm gonna get good enough to prove to you that I am, to the point where you don't have a choice, right? Like that's just the way I kind of saw it, right? Like if I'm not playing, I'm not gonna go cry to my mom or cry to the coach. I'm going straight to the gym. I'm going to the gym at 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to the gym at midnight, and I'm working on my game until you don't have a choice. Like you have to see how much better I've gotten. You have to see how much better I am than anybody else. And that's kind of the way I was, man. That's still the way I am. And obviously Gilbert Arenas was kind of the same way. Um, but that's my advice, man. If you end up in a tough situation, you really have one or two options. You can quit, you can cry and complain, quit, walk away, or you can master that. And that's kind of a rule for life for me. Um, so that's kind of the way I look at it, man. It was one or two things, and I wasn't about to sit back and let somebody else dictate what I wanted.
Which is completely understandable. And to see, where you're at now, going to go play in China, playing with the big three, but something that I'm genuinely curious to find out, what is the difference like between playing overseas and playing here in the States?
Yeah. So I had a cup of coffee in the league, and been around a lot of NBA players. Obviously, Big Three is very different from what you'll find in the NBA or G League or anything. But Europe is a different animal. Overseas, China is a different animal. It's so much more physical. The pressure on you off the court is just as high as it is on the court, right? Like you got to really be able to be okay in different situations. We could sit here and talk all day about the differences, but whether or not you're getting paid, you might not speak the same languages as your teammates, or you might be the only person in that country that outside of your teammates. So it's a big mental hurdle. The mental hurdles are a lot deeper, and so off the court might be the most difficult part, but even on the court, right? Like you are expected to now be the KD, the LeBron of your European team or your overseas team. So the pressures are a lot different. Your role is a lot different, and that could be a lot of fun. One, but if your team is losing or if you get injured or anything like that, like you're looked at completely differently. So I've learned how to be really professional about it, right? Like I've learned how to really take care of my body because I know that I have to be able to be available for 60, 70 games out the year. I've learned really how to be cool in any situation, how to really, be calm and be level headed, keep my cool because they will try you. They'll test you. Everything about it will test you. But if you do it the right way and you take care of you take care of yourself, you take care of your mental, like it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it sounds like it is. Guys like me who, was pretty good, but face it, I'm not in the professional ranks. That's just the reality of it. But,
Yeah.
to be able to chop it up with professional players and hear their backstories, it's always incredible. We're coming to the end now because I do understand you got a lot of stuff that, you still have to do. Tell me about one of your greatest basketball moments.
Ooh, greatest basketball moments, man. I played at UVA. I played at the University of Virginia in college, and we had some really good players on my team. Winning the ACC championship. Like I said, I'm a Charlotte kid. I grew up a Duke fan. We beat Duke in the ACC championship my senior year, and that to this day still has to be one of the best one of the biggest accomplishments, not only because obviously we won a championship, but because of the gravity of it all for me, right? Like we used to watch the ACC championship. They used to roll the TVs in during school so we could watch Duke and Carolina in the games, and to be in Greensboro Coliseum and to beat the team and the coach that I grew up dying to play for and rooting for was a real full circle moment for me. So yeah, man.
I don't think kids today really understand like how big it is to win in that conference when you
Yeah,
have the guy who continues to be one of the greatest coaches of all time and all those players that come from that program. So
man.
for you to be able to say, yeah, it was pretty cool to beat them, I know that had to feel special.
It was amazing. It was amazing. Like I had Duke jerseys, JJ Redick and Chris Duhon, and Jay, all of them, man. Everybody that I watched, that I emulated growing up. I was a Duke fan. I was a Duke fan. And Coach K, we had at that point, yeah, I played him every year. We played in Cameron Indoor, and to beat them on that stage for our first ACC championship in I think almost 30 something years was amazing, man. And like I said, I had some great teammates with me. Malcolm Brogdon was on that team, Joe Harris, Anthony Gill, Justin Anderson. Like I'm the whole team was stacked. And so, we all did it together. But for me, it was really special. And I still have pictures of my mom and how much that meant for her because she knew how much it meant for me. And so those are moments that you just don't get back.
Favorite moment from the Big Three?
Favorite moment from the big three. Uh, I think Glenn hit a little half turnaround. Um, who was that against? That might have been against Ball Hogs. Where he had a game winner, and he was just going off down the stretch. We ended up going into so you got to win by two, so I guess it's called overtime, right? So ended up going into overtime. Glenn and Jody Meeks just going back and forth. Jody ended up hitting a 4 pointer off the backboard. And then Glenn responds with another four, and like we just going back and forth. And Glenn hit like a little half fake and hit a shot. And man, when I tell you, like I wasn't even on the court, but it was amazing to watch because the energy in the arena was so much fun. People were really into the game. Like the games have been amazing, but when the crowd's into it and it's going into overtime like that, and you get to watch two great scorers go back and forth like that, like that was a lot of fun for me. And yeah, man, I'm hoping to have a lot more moments like that.
It's all about the wheels too at the end of the day because like I
Yeah,
said earlier, man, you can have all the X's and O's, but you still got to go out there and execute. And I don't care what anybody says. As a player, you always get up for your competition and you kind of look for those little spurts and those little bit of moments when it's like screw everybody else, it's me and you, let's get it on.
right. Let's get it. Let's get it. And Glenn is one of the best in the world at that, man. I really appreciate him and his game. We played together my rookie year, so almost 10 years ago now. But I've seen him do that so many times, and it never amazes me. It never ceases to amaze me, man. Like he's amazing, an amazing scorer, and he won that game for us. He straight out won that game for us.
It always makes it better when you actually win at the end of the day too, right?
Yeah, yeah, of course. Like I said, we're competitors, man. Like I've known these guys for a long time. We could be playing gin rummy, you know what I mean? Like we could be playing spades. At the end of the day, it's when it gets down to it, these dudes are gonna fight each other. Like we'll fight and then hug at the end of it because that's how bad we want to win. And like even last game in Charlotte, right? Like I know a couple of those guys. I've known them for years, but on the court, we're at war. You know what I mean? We're at war, and that's what makes it so fun. Like you get to leave it all out there and compete, but you're doing it with people that you can build with, and you know that you got love for.
I totally get it, man. One of the last questions that I always ask my guests, especially because it's around, B-ball and the big three. I'm gonna shoot my shot with this. Let's hope we score. Who would you like to see me interview next on the Chris Gunther show from the big three? And if you have any contact, do you think you could help a young brother out?
Yeah, man. No, of course. I mean, there's a lot of great interviews. I think one of the guys you should get is Jeremy Pargo. Pargo and I played together in Israel for about a half a season, and he became one of my favorite people. But he has stories from every level. He's played at the highest level in Europe. Obviously, playing in the NBA, playing in the Big Three now. Like, dude has seen it all. He's done it all. And I'm showing him some love because we played him tomorrow, but showing him some love now. But you know that he's also a competitor, also a killer, and I'm sure he's got some great stories. So if you want, I can put you guys in touch, man. Pargo is one of my guys.
Yeah, I think we should go ahead and set that up, man. Well, ladies
Gotcha.
and gentlemen, Akil Mitchell on the Chris Gunther Show from Power. Man, I appreciate you taking this time out with us, bro. Hey, before we jump out, why don't you go ahead and give us your social media handles?
Yeah, no doubt, man. I'm at AJ Mitchell 25 on everything, Twitter, Instagram, whatever you want to reach out to me. I'm available, man. Just hit me up.
Be sure to follow fellow light skinned brother back. Just want to go ahead and put that out there. Ladies and gentlemen, Akil Mitchell on the Chris Gunther Show. Cue my theme song. I'll see y'all next time.